Welcome back to Spa Business Mastery Podcast. I'm so glad you're here. Today is Spa Marketing with Delia. So once a month, I bring on Delia Taylor, who is my Director of Marketing on the agency side of my business. And we talk about all things spa marketing because it's kind of one of those hot topics when it comes to the spa industry. It's a hot topic also because, you know this, Delia, everybody kind of feels like the magic bullet must be it's one thing.
Well, and I've been there as well. I was always looking for that one magic bullet. And I think that it's important to know that there isn't a magic bullet.
So if you don't get anything else from this podcast, when it comes to digital marketing, there is not any one thing that will get you really well booked with clients and making those sales that you want.
It's true. Yep.
All right. So the topic today is called Getting Started with Digital Marketing with Your Spa. Start here. So we don't normally talk about spa startups, but today we wanted to speak to our startups that are kind of, just getting ready to hang their shingle out for the first time and feeling really vulnerable and, what's kind of just like, you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know where to go with it. So today's podcast is about giving you some first steps.
Yeah. And then we also wanted to, include our existing spa owners who are looking for a refresh and, certain ways that they can discover their own marketing opportunities. So even if you're existing, it's still for you.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to just bypass this because you've been in business for, 15, 20 years. Because we do kind of get locked into some of our own thinking about, well, this doesn't work and that doesn't work and only this might work. And so the other aspect of this is that we also find that most spa owners, when it comes to marketing, they're not quite sure what the term digital marketing is. So before we dig into what are the steps what are the steps you need to take when you're getting started, as well as what do you need to consider, Delia and I want to share with you what digital marketing actually means so that you can do your research better, because when you ask better questions, you get better answers.
Yeah.
And then to make better decisions once you've done that research. So Delia.
I was going to say, I think what kind of prompted this conversation just between you and I is that when we've been chatting quite a bit lately with a lot of new digital marketing clients coming in, we realize that they're not understanding the full picture of marketing, and they think that digital marketing kind of relies mostly on social media. Mm-hmm. And so, we're like, oh, okay, we're understanding that, okay, maybe we need to kind of define this a little bit more so that you're not missing multiple opportunities to communicate with your customers and consumers.
Yeah. So we want to start give you the big picture about what digital marketing entails. Yeah. Because this is where it ties in what we're saying. There's no one thing. Mm-hmm. So there's this big umbrella called digital marketing, and then there's a bunch of categories under this umbrella. Yeah. And by understanding what all those different categories are, you'll be able to see the opportunities, and each one offers a different opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of like a good analogy for skin therapists is that, or anybody that you're treating, whether it be manis, pedis, waxing, anything like that, but you don't just treat one area and expect everything else to fall in place for amazing results, right? So it's kind of the same with digital marketing. And so yes, social media is definitely one of those aspects that's important, but it's if it's the only thing that you're looking at and wondering why it's not working, then this is definitely kind of your where do you start list for you, is to try and figure out where your opportunities are.
Yeah. So it'd be like if you're just treating pigmentation and they also are deeply dehydrated and struggling with some inflammation and maybe a little bit of acne. So if you're only treating the pigmentation, you might have kind of gone down the wrong road to get that amazing client results. Just to say that there's other things that should have been considered and balanced out that might have given a different result. All right, Delia, do you want to kind of share what the definition of digital marketing is, please?
Yeah, sure. It is. Digital marketing is defined as it's using the internet and any other forms of digital communication. So, we like to kind of call these multi-channel opportunities. So you've got your emails, you've got your blogs, your podcasts, even in-spa marketing and conversations. Your website is another means of digital communication, and paid ads. So that's kind of the umbrella as far as that multi-channel marketing comes from, and they tie in and they're all connected to your business and to your, your spa's monthly focus, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the umbrella.
Yeah. And we don't want you to feel like, okay, so all the umbrella is like email, blogs, podcasts, the rack cards you have, the shelf talkers you have in the spa, the conversations you're having, paid ads, that kind of thing. And so what we want you to know is that each one of those things is considered a channel. Yes. That's the digital marketing speak, so that you have the right definitions for things. And that we also want you to know you don't have to have new content on every single one of these channels. So please don't think like, oh my gosh, I have to create all of this stuff and post on all of these channels in order to bring in my ideal client. No, that is not, there's ways to repurpose stuff. And that's a completely different conversation. And I know that we've had a podcast about repurposing and making this easier, but this podcast is for our startups. They're really new to marketing. And so we're just really breaking it down for you. So the first thing is there's opportunities on multiple platforms or channels. All right. The next part that we want to share with you is actually where to start with your marketing. Yeah.
So, before you can post anywhere, regardless of which channels you decide to use, you really need to know who your ideal client is and where they hang out online. So for the spa industry, most of our clients are using Instagram and Facebook because Instagram is more of a visual, Facebook as well, depending on your age groups, websites, emails, like we had said before, but I'd say mostly Instagram, Facebook, and emails is really where people
and website for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
that would be the, if you're as far as kind of what platforms that you want to be using, we do suggest Facebook, Instagram, kind of depending on where you are and where your client hangs out. Yeah. But for sure, website.
Yes.
And I think
and the reason why you want your website, really defined as far as who your ideal client is, because everything that you're doing as far as any other channels that you're using is really going to point people back to your website so that they can book with you, right?
Yeah. So everything on all like social media, email, whatever you do for marketing, we want to direct all that traffic to your website. So it all starts there, because on your website is your list of services. It should be speaking visually, and in terms of text, like copywriting, it should be speaking to your ideal client. So that's why if you're unclear about your ideal client, and I gotta say, a lot of new businesses, when they're doing ideal client work, they mistakenly just go for things like, well, they can afford my services. They're not afraid to spend money on product. They believe in me and trust my knowledge. That's great, but that's not really super helpful in terms of trying to attract people into your business. So we're talking about defining your ideal client. Like, what does that person do? Like, what are their interests?
Yeah. What are their interests? What are their shopping behaviors, right? Because, maybe we should do another podcast on this one, but it's a good one. But, you can go into psychographics and their interests and behaviors, and it's not complicated to find that stuff out. Good old Google will, help you. There's great articles about, Gen X and Gen Z shopping behaviors. You can find information as to whether, depending on your, your target audience, age group, some like coupon codes, some like reward points. So you can really,
you can go down the rabbit hole in terms of complexity.
And really find it, because if those are your ideal clients, then you want to start talking to your ideal clients for things that they're going to be interested in learning more about. So, find out who they are, really figure out what their interests and hobbies are, you know, their psychographics.
And more importantly, and we actually didn't put this on our notes, Delia.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing about determining who your ideal client is defining what their pain points are.
Yes, most definitely.
Because when you're able to define what those pain points are, you're able to find visual graphics that speak to that. You're able to write copy that really digs in there and speaks to what they're struggling with. You want to make sure that you are psychologically in your ideal client's brain about what their pain points are and what they're looking for. All right, so I don't want to spend too much time on this because we've got some more information. This is really just to give you newbies a starting place. So first thing to do is start doing some ideal client research and where they hang out. Yep. All right, number two, that in terms of priority, where you should be working on your digital marketing. Before you start creating any posts or anything like that, you really need to get your branding absolutely on point. Identifiable colors, logo, fonts, imagery, the language that you use. Like, is your ideal client more fun and like cheeky? Well, then your branding needs to be fun and cheeky. Are you more like, you know, kind of full on professional, scientific kind of thing? Then your branding needs to look more pro and scientific. So it is absolutely a wise investment if you're struggling with your own branding. I totally get that. It's not our thing. Then hire it out. Because you really do need to, like when a new client lands on your website or looks at your social media, if your branding is all over the place and looks kind of cheesy or like you did it, and yeah, totally get that we have to bootstrap our businesses. But if you have some money to invest, we absolutely recommend that you invest in somebody who can really help you kick off your branding in a really solidified way, because it gives you major clout, doesn't it?
Yeah, it gives you like people will recognize you without even knowing your logo, right? They'll be like, oh, I go through, on my socials and I can actually pinpoint what accounts are which without even actually looking at their handle with their name.
But even as a new consumer coming onto your website or your social media, if your branding's all over the place, it kind of gives a psychological response of like,
messy.
You really know what they're doing. Yeah. They don't seem to really have it together.
Yeah. And especially if like it's inconsistent with your branding colors. And so if you're constantly, switching out and whatnot, then you're not really being consistent with your branding. It's not maintaining kind of that same look. It can still be creative and, lots of different ways to make that work that way. But like I had said, because social media especially is a visual and your website, it's very visual. And especially in our industry, clients are looking for kind of that, I don't know, I guess
it's the aesthetic.
Yeah, essentially is what it is. And so if it's all over the place, then it kind of mixes them all up and confuses them as to, okay, where did that go? Why is that?
It's mixed messaging in terms of trust. Like when you get to land on a website, the intention of it is to increase the know, like, and trust factor of a brand new consumer who's never seen you or your stuff or what you offer. And so that happens through really good copywriting that targets that kind of psychological aspect of your consumer. It also means like that the branding is really consistent and on point. All right, so branding is definitely number 2 if you're getting started. Yes. All right, number 3, Delia, do you want to take this one?
Sure. Yeah, number 3, and we kind of touched on this just a little bit before, but you don't have to go for all of the channels all at once. Unless you have a marketing team to work with you who can, manage all that for you. But the third thing,
it's a lot of work. If you've got like website, Facebook, Instagram, email, blogging, it's a lot for one spa owner who's also trying to do all the admin and manage their team and maybe still be in the treatment room. It's almost near impossible.
Yeah, and I think that's likely why some of it starts falling apart and people just start kind of throwing that spaghetti at the wall and hoping that things stick, right? Yeah. So because it's like, it's too much, I don't even know what to do, so we have to do something. Let's just do something. But I think in this case, when you're getting started, you just want to decide, eventually you can kind of merge into all of the channels, or like,
just, you add, like, once you kind of master one, or once you've gotten, a team to help master this, then you can add the next channel.
So decide where your biggest bang for your buck's going to be. And that would be, your time, energy, and money. And again, so once you've identified who your ideal client is, then that will give you a little bit of a perspective as to where you should be putting your energy to.
Yeah. Right. So we've got, the channels that we recommend in terms of priority for you, we recommend definitely that your website is number one. Yeah. So we've said your website needs to have really consistent on-point branding. We would absolutely recommend that it's also SEO'd, search engine optimized. And that means that's all the behind the scenes googly stuff that, the bots crawl and end up ranking you on a Google search. And so, most spas do their own copywriting, and without thinking that what's in the words makes a difference. So things like having your location in copy, having keywords, that's all about SEO. So making sure that you've got SEO'd copy. And then when we're talking about copying, making sure that it's really speaking to those psychological points of your ideal client. So that's the first thing, number one priority. Number two, Delia, you want to go with that one?
Yeah, second priority, we suggest social media. So we know that with social media, organic reach is not great, but it's terrible. However, it's not that terrible that you can't make any, headway with it, but you must be on it for your business, for awareness, right? Really, you're building that community on there. You're attracting your ideal clients. You're talking again to their pain points. It's almost a mini website that you can have for your clients. But
it's also it's also more, almost in a way, it's definitely fresher content than what your website could ever do. So it's also a way for new consumers when they land on your account, social media account. If you're active on there, we don't mean like you have to post every day or multiple times a day, like 3 times a week is okay if that's all you've got. But it still means that you have to be there for people to see that you're up to date. If somebody lands on a social media account that hasn't had a post since like November 2021, which isn't that long ago, but people start wondering, did they close?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So decide on your social media and make sure that you are absolutely on there, because it will help to gain some traction for you. And again, we're, trying to get everybody back to your website so that they can learn more about you.
All right. So we've got website number one, social media number two, and we've got some of this. I'm going to put the next one as email, because I actually think it's more important than the one after that. So email marketing is extremely important. I know many spas, and if we're speaking to you, dear startup spa owner, most spas are not doing consistent email marketing. And for a new startup, email marketing really is speaking to and connecting with your existing clients. So it's something that we would recommend you get into the habit of sending out a monthly, like once a month email, just kind of what's happening in the spa. Maybe new products are being released for the spring, maybe some last minute appointment availability. But email marketing is a fantastic and a really good ROI for your existing clients. So in terms of new clients, the only way that email marketing will work to try to attract new clients is if you have an email opt-in on your website. And that would be something like most spas have like sign up for our newsletter and get 10% off or something like that, or a skin quiz. But that's another little job to do that is going to be a little bit, it's definitely not a startup kind of.
Well, and I think if you are starting up and you've got your CRM system, your booking system, that you'll be collecting information on your clients. I mean, that's a great way to start getting all the information, right? So you want to make sure that you've got kind of a system set up for that.
But always, like you said, you always make sure you are collecting your clients' emails, even if you're not doing email marketing right now.
Yeah,
for sure. Okay, so I did email, and then the next one you can do, Delia.
Sure. The next one is blogging. So that would be the fourth thing that we would suggest to do. And so like SEO, blogging uses those keywords and specific words that people are searching for, and that will boost your SEO as well. So that will boost your searchability on Google or any other search engine results page. And you're talking and you're blogging, it's educational, right? So you're getting that know, like, and trust factor through your expertise in your zone of genius. So whatever it is that you want to communicate with your clients as far as education goes, blogging is a great way to do it. For educating them and positioning you as an expert, and they can go back and read them all the time. They're on your website. You can update them. And then again, it boosts your SEO. So it's just another really good way, because SEO takes time for it to develop. And so when you are starting up, you're not going to be right on, top page of Google. So these little pieces in here between your website and your blogging can help to boost those rankings on there, especially as you are getting started up, because it does take some time. So it's a great way to do that.
Yeah. And for blogging, I know a lot of spas, they want to blog, but they don't feel like they're very good writers, or they just don't have enough time. And that's definitely something you can outsource. We do ghost blog writing for quite a few spas. And really that just means that, we help them come up with topics each month, and then talking points in terms of like, what do you want to say in this blog? And then we have our in-house writer write it for you and upload it to your website. So we've seen some really great results with our clients' ghost blogging service. They're getting inquiries from all over the country, especially for our clients that do virtual skin consultations.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, the last one is definitely not a newbie kind of channel, but if you have the budget for it to farm out to somebody else, we do recommend paid ads. So, Google ads, Facebook, Instagram ads are kind of the most common ones for our industry. But like I said, this is not a beginner's kind of marketing channel. There's a lot of data to understand. It's really detailed and in depth. So it would be a huge learning curve for you as a startup to figure this out. And you're already in a huge learning curve as a startup. So paid ads, if it's more of one of those things that you would hire somebody to do that for you. But it's a really great way to rapidly build up brand awareness. So as long as you have the ad budget, as long as you have the budget to pay somebody to put those ads together, because it's not like you just put one ad up. There's split testing. Like you have to put three different versions of the ad, and you got to analyze data, and boring. But it can work. All right. Okay. So we hope that this has helped our startups that follow us, that are, trying to glean as much information to get their business going on the best foot possible. And also for our spas that are just like, head scratcher, digital marketing. I don't know. All right. So this podcast is literally a list of action steps for you. So if you happen to be in the car or you're walking while you're reading this, bookmark it and come back and listen, and bring your notebook and a piece of paper and write it out for yourself, so that you can have like something in front of you that helps you map that out. And of course, if you, we also know that helping you manage the whole concept of digital marketing expectations will also help you just move through your marketing process a little bit easier. We wanted to help you manage your marketing expectations because it's not your zone of genius, but you do have to understand some of it to be able to make good decisions for your business. So finally, what else did we want to say here?
Well, I think we maybe just wanted to, you kind of covered it all there. And so I think we wanted to just chat a little bit about, like, as far as social media goes for us, like we're full on taking new clients, but we also have VIP days and we have VIP marketing days. So if you are struggling with your marketing, you're finding it too overwhelming, you don't have the time, but you really want to kind of get a good handle on it and what that would look like.
Kind of package it up together so that you've got this thing that you can follow some steps with.
Absolutely. Then that's where our marketing VIP day comes in to help you figure all that out. And so we'll, go through your ideal client and where they hang out. We'll get really detailed about that. We'll talk a bit about where your branding gaps are and how we can optimize them better. And then we set up a full organized digital marketing system, and we offer a very high level of strategy for 1 year. And so you'll have like a 12-month marketing content calendar for the whole entire year. You can continually repurpose it year after year.
But all that, like literally, like it's all the heavy lifting in terms of marketing strategy is done for you. We do that for you. Some of it we're doing with you in our VIP day. And then Delia actually, after our VIP day, Delia actually does the rest of your year for you so that, you don't have to think about what captions to write. The topic and talking points will be there for you. You do have to write them out in your own wording, but all of the ideas for a full year of social media, email marketing, blogging, if you so choose to add blogging, website suggestions, and also in spa marketing suggestions for you so that everything is really consistent each month on the platforms that you choose to work on.
And it's got a, very targeted, like a very focused theme to it. And, who you're serving, what the pain points are for your clients, and give you all of that. And then, like I said, like Kirsten said, it's I'll go and write it all out for you. And you're basically going to have a great 12-month foundation of all of your marketing. So you don't have to feel so overwhelmed. It'll be done and dusted and you'll feel relieved.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So if you are interested in learning more about our digital marketing VIP day, you can go to my website, kirstenfoss.com, and on the nav bar, it says VIP days. And what you want, like read through how it works. And then there's a form to apply. And that really just means that you're filling out a little bit of information about you and your business and what you're looking for. And we can book a get acquainted call and talk a little bit more about the details of your business and what the VIP day actually looks like for you. Yeah. All right, that's it today for Spa Business Mastery podcast. Thank you, Delia, for showing up today and talking about all things marketing for our new startups. And we will see you next month on another episode of Spa Marketing with Delia on Spa Business Mastery podcast. Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.